Good evening, everyone. My name is Steve Parker, and I'm Chair of Special Events for DeKalb Dems. It is our pleasure to begin our series of forums focused on important DeKalb County elections occurring this May 21st. Tonight, our agenda is for Districts 1, 4, and 5. District 2 and Super District 6 were unopposed. And as you may know, the election for commissioners in Districts 3 and Super District 7 will not occur until November 5th. This is a nonpartisan forum. Please promote participation on X, formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We are streaming live to those platforms, and we are recording this to YouTube for playback for the public to learn more about candidates and how they stand on the issues between tomorrow and early voting and then the election on May 21st. So the information will be there for those that were not able to join us tonight. DeKalb Dems is happy to produce these forums. We do these strictly through the operation of volunteers. There's a lot of people behind the scenes. There's tech crew, there's question writers, and others that help pull these things off. So we ask for any donations that you may want to make to DeKalb Dems. We also always promote membership to our organization and ask for volunteers. And now it's my pleasure to introduce you to Brandy Weish, Chair of DeKalb County Democratic Committee. Brandy.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you to everyone who is here with us this evening. I want to first off thank you to all of our current electeds as well as candidates for being here this evening to share a little bit about your platform and so that voters can learn a little bit more about you. I also want to say thank you to our moderators, our tech team, our writers, everyone behind the scenes who is helping us put this on tonight. As Steve shared, we are a volunteer organization, and there is a lot of work that happens behind the scenes to make all of this happen. I also want to send a special thank you to Steve Parker, who is the orchestrator of all of our forums and all of our special events. Thank you, Steve, for putting in the work. I want to start by saying in a federal election year, I know that it is easy to focus on everything that is happening across the state or outside the state. But here in DeKalb, we have a number of elections that are happening that are going right here on our front steps that are going to affect all of us across our county. You are going to hear from some of these candidates tonight to hear their platforms, to hear what they're all about, their experiences. And I hope that everyone here will take the time to get a better understanding of your candidates, and if you are so inclined, to get involved with your candidates as well. It is so important to have the right people in elected office so that we can make sure that we are continuing to move DeKalb County forward. With all of that said, I am going to pass it back over to our team now. Yet again, thank you all for being here, and I look forward to hearing from all of the candidates here this evening.
And I would like to introduce you to Amaryllis Alexander, our moderator for tonight. Amaryllis is a resident of DeKalb County and has lived in the Stone Mountain area with her husband for over 25 years. She serves as House District 94 chair and leads a significant effort to help get out the vote. She has been recognized from the floor of the state capitol for her voter registration, voter education, and community service engagement. She was also recognized from the floor for her outstanding community efforts to raise awareness of bullying and breaking generational negative mindset shifts. She was recently recognized as the Yellow Rose Servant Leadership honoree by the Georgia Women's Legislative Caucus. She is the author of 2 books, and when Amaryllis is not working on volunteering, you can find her at music venues, church, traveling, gardening, and most importantly, spending time with her friends and family. It's a pleasure to introduce Amaryllis, our moderator for this evening. Amaryllis.
To explain the county commissioner structure. The Board of Commissioners is the legislative branch of DeKalb County. The board levies taxes, makes appropriations, enacts ordinances and resolutions, approves the budget, and considers zoning ordinance. The board is composed of 7 part-time commissioners, all elected to a 4-year term. DeKalb County is divided into 5 districts with 1 commissioner serving each district. There are also 2 super districts, one on the east end of the county and the other on the west end, each making up about half of the county population. Super district is served by 1 commissioner. Therefore, every citizen of DeKalb County is served by 2 commissioners, one with the district and one with the super district. Their mission is to improve the quality of life for stakeholders of DeKalb County through governance, representation, and accountability. And their vision is a commitment to excellence in public service as a way for the people to participate in a responsive government. They define excellence as fulfillment of the mission through embracing and valuing the diversity of the community, creating sound public policy, providing independent oversight, prioritizing and allocating resources, collaborative problem solving. Their core values are defined as commitment, honesty, fairness, integrity, and stewardship. We have a lot to cover tonight, and we want to ensure everyone has an opportunity to answer the questions. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to make an opening statement. Each candidate will have 60 seconds to answer their questions. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to make a closing statement. As a reminder, candidates, please adhere to the rules and please refrain from calling out other candidates by name. So at this time, I'm going to introduce our candidates and ask each of them for their opening statements. As stated earlier, an invitation was extended to all candidates. Starting with District 1, Commissioner Robert Patrick, please state what makes you uniquely qualified for this position, and you will have 90 seconds for your opening statement. Commissioner Patrick.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate the introduction, Ms. Alexander. Also want to say welcome to all of the other candidates that are here, including my opponent. It's nice to see you again. I have over 20 years of experience in municipal and local government, 14 years service with the city of Norcross in the planning department, where I learned everything from issuing building permits to sign permits to development permits. Also had an opportunity to serve for 8 years with the city of Doraville as a councilman. During that time, of course, I also served as the president of the DeKalb Municipal Association, as well as the mayor pro tem. And of course, most recently, I have served the last 3.5 years as a commissioner with DeKalb County, representing the residents of District 1. During my service, my collaborative approach, I think, has been what has been appreciated and reflective of where we've come in the last 4 years in DeKalb County. Specifically, in my first term, I was able to serve as the presiding officer of the Board of Commissioners, something that has never been done previously by any other previous District 1 commissioners. To go back to what I was saying earlier, though, it's my collaborative approach, working with people, irregardless of where you are in the county, whether you're a District 1 resident or somewhere in the north or somewhere in the south or somewhere in the middle. If there's a service issue or service concern, I have always been quick and ready to hop on and help out in any way. I believe that that is critical to addressing some of the long-term issues that we have at DeKalb County. In particular, we're all familiar with the county having sort of this history of north-south politics. But I do believe that my service is a testament to the people who want progressive change and are tired of the old-time politics. I represent people that expect a county to deliver on services and service commitments, expect a county that is responsive and accountable to the people and businesses of DeKalb County. During my service, I've also been on the Decide DeKalb Development Authority. I have worked with many organizations to bring jobs, housing, new opportunities for our residents. So whether it's working with a global soft drink company to bring jobs, residential development companies to bring housing, or even the Atlanta Veterans Association here in Atlanta to help our veterans, I have a track record of success, and I can say that confidently we are better today than we were 4 years ago. To say it again, I'm known for responsiveness, collaboration, and being willing to roll up my sleeves to get the job done. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Patrick. Also, District 1, Mr. Andy Yeoman, same question, please, for your opening statement.
Sure. Thank you for the Dems for hosting this forum tonight. And I want to say I'm getting some feedback from people that it's not streaming on Facebook. If maybe they can look into that. But my name is Andy Yeoman, and I'm running for the DeKalb County Commissioner for District 1. As a dedicated community leader and advocate for progressive change in this county, I am deeply committed to serving the needs and advancing the well-being of all of our residents. I'm a former council member, former Economic Development Board Director, Planning Commission Chairperson, and I'm in senior leadership for information technology and security. While I served as a council member during COVID, I got bored and got a second master's degree in public administration. That's in addition to my executive MBA that I got a number of years ago. I bring a wealth of experience and I think a fresh perspective to address the challenges and seize this district's opportunities, from improving our local infrastructure and ensuring public safety to fostering economic development and promoting sustainable practices. I'm dedicated to making DeKalb County a better place for all living things, people and animals. Our district is diverse and dynamic, and it deserves leadership that listens, understands, and is accountable to those decisions. And that's why I'm here tonight, to listen to you, learn from you, and lead with integrity, transparency, and accountability. In one term on the city council, we actually did something about affordable housing. We actually made efforts to reform our court and our police departments. I authored and supported solar and EV ordinances. You can learn more about those things and my record on my website, which is andyleads.com, ANDYLEADS.com, and clicking on my record. Thank you.
Mr. Yeoman. Moving on to District 4, Mr. Lance Hammonds. Mr. Hammonds, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I'm good.
Thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks to the committee, Amaryllis, and the DeKalb Dems. I'm Lance Hammonds. I'm a candidate for DeKalb County Commission District 4. And our campaign is all about putting DeKalb families first. Now, what does this mean? It means that I will advocate for policies and initiatives that support the well-being and stability and prosperity of our families in DeKalb County. In areas of economic development and job creation, I'm going to support policies that attract businesses to our community, that offer family-sustaining wages and benefits. Safe neighborhoods. I'm going to prioritize public safety initiatives that ensure that our neighborhoods are safe places for families to live. On transportation and infrastructure, I'm going to ensure that our streets are cleaned and resurfaced. I'm going to reduce commute times and enhance the mobility of all of the families in DeKalb County. Environmental sustainability, I'm going to promote policies that protect the environment and natural resources for the benefit of current and future generations of DeKalb County families. Community engagement, encouraging active participation in DeKalb families in the political and decision-making process of their government. I've been fighting for DeKalb families for many years as NAACP president, as chair of the Rockbridge Coalition of Neighborhoods, as a community advocate fighting for a safer community and better schools. I look forward to the opportunity to share in detail my plans for District 4. So thank you.
Candidate, Ms. Shakira Johnson, same question in your opening statement.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everybody. And Again, thank you to the DeKalb Democratic Committee for having us here tonight. I am Shakira Johnson, and I'm running to be your next District 4 Commissioner. I have called DeKalb County home for over 20 years. I'm a former City Council member for the City of Stone Mountain, where I served for 16 years. I was also the Mayor Pro Tem for 12 of those 16 years. I was a board member on the Stone Mountain Downtown Development Authority for over a decade. My years on Stone Mountain City Council has provided me with the experience in understanding how to govern, how to approve a balanced budget, and how to make hard decisions for the benefit of the community. I learned how to listen to the voices of the community and work with administration to find solutions. By day, I am a professional civil engineer. I received my bachelor's degree in engineering from Georgia Tech and became a registered professional engineer in 2006. I have worked in the private sector where I designed residential subdivisions, industrial projects, military contracts, water and sanitary sewer rehabilitation projects. I am currently in the public sector as the city engineer for the city of South Fulton. In this capacity, I am responsible for ensuring the development projects are permitted and constructed through regulations, respond to citizen issues in regard to stormwater and erosion control. I manage a team of land development inspectors as well. I'm running because I know with my leadership skills and my engineering experience and the support of the citizens of DeKalb, we can engineer progress for DeKalb. This process will include an emphasis on fixing our failing infrastructure, increasing public safety, attracting economic development, and finding solutions for affordable and workforce housing shortfalls and supporting the unhoused community that is expanding within our district, especially within our district, but within DeKalb County. You can find out more about me on Shakira4commissioner.com. That's Shakira, the number 4 commissioner.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. And next, District 4 is Gabrielle Rogers. Ms. Gabrielle Rogers, please.
Yes, well, good evening to the DeKalb County Dems and our community. I am Gabrielle Rogers, past president of the DeKalb Young Democrats, House District 88 Chair, Stone Mill Precinct Captain, and post seat holder. I'm running to serve you as the next District 4 Commissioner. We have not yet reached our greatest potential as our district and a county. So I'm running to reimagine our quality of life together in the areas of economic development, public safety, and housing. District 4 is home to the beautiful Stone Mountain Park, our DeKalb County School District, and the most diverse square mile. But with all this beauty, District 4 is also home to over a dozen extended stays where families decide whether to pay $350 a week or put food on their tables. District 4 is home to not-so-safe neighborhoods and the not-so-thriving Memorial Drive and Rockbridge corridors. So we deserve innovative visionary leadership with the energy to bring fresh ideas and do the job. Driving the Memorial Drive corridor, I'm inspired by great vision for DeKalb County. I'm inspired to drive DeKalb forward, and I invite you to join the Caravan for Change to take this drive with me. And as we join together, we will drive towards greater entrepreneurship development and employment creation. We'll drive through a diverse county with housing that attracts a broad range of residents and provide and develop safer and cleaner communities. We'll drive over the economic downturn that has ushered us from our once prosperous past and pushed prosperity itself further away. Strengthening our county's public safety infrastructure can help us fight to increase crime levels that threaten DeKalb residents. Take this drive with me and let's engage our collective vision to reimagine DeKalb County together. I am Gabrielle Rogers, running to serve you as your next DeKalb County Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers, and also thank you, District 1 and 4. We're now moving to District 5. Ms. Gina Smith Mangum, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, thank you.
Okay.
I am Gina Smith Mangum, and I've been working very hard to become the next county commissioner for District 5. I've spent a lot of time talking to folks about what their issues are, and I found that people are concerned that there's been a disinvestment in our community over the past 10 years or so. And I think we all want the same things. We all want good public safety. We want economic development. But I think we really need to look first at the way we do business. As you stated earlier, the DeKalb County Commission is a legislative body. We have spent a lot of time giving piecemeal solutions to some of the problems that face us. My goal is to introduce policies and enact more legislation that will address these issues at the macro level so that we can move on to develop the county in the way that will really improve the quality of life for everyone. I have a background in finance. I have a BBA from the University of Michigan. I spent some time at IBM in finance and marketing. After that, I was asked to transfer and I wanted to stay in Atlanta. So I followed my dream of going to law school. This just made me a more fierce advocate. I've always been an advocate for the community. As a volunteer, I've been active in this community for more than 20 years. Along with my neighbors and other advocates, we've addressed many issues around zoning, protecting the environment, transportation, and equity in services to Southeast DeKalb. Yes, we are one DeKalb, but Southeast DeKalb needs more attention, and it needs more attention now. I've circulated more petitions, prepared more proposals, and come before the BOC on more issues than you can imagine. After having served on many community boards and in leadership positions, the skills and experience I have acquired along this journey have prepared me well to serve as your commissioner for District 5.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mangum. And that concludes our opening statements. And now we move into the important part of the night, and that is what is top of mind of our candidates. We will take approximately 1 to 2 questions from our virtual audience. And starting with District 1, Commissioner Patrick, everyone will answer number 1. Mr. Commissioner Patrick, what policy changes or investments are necessary to encourage broader employment?
That's a great question. And I'll say that as county commissioner and as a member of the Decide DeKalb Development Authority, I have been working on everything I can do to bring more investment to DeKalb County. Of course, during my time as a Doraville councilman, I was involved in the redevelopment of the Assembly project, which is, or at the time, was the largest redevelopment project in the southeastern United States. That has now been built out, of course. From my position at the Decide DeKalb Development Authority, though, I've had the opportunity to work with companies like Pepsi-Cola to bring in jobs to DeKalb County. They had an investment opportunity and decided to stay with DeKalb versus investing in another community. And I'd like to believe that it was my participation with that group that helped bring in that redevelopment, those investment dollars in the Tucker area. More recently, Decide DeKalb has had the opportunity to work in South DeKalb and put in the new TAD tax allocation district in South DeKalb, which I believe over time will be a phenomenal game changer and attract many businesses. Thank you.
Good deal. Thank you. Also, Mr. Yeoman, same question. What policy changes are necessary to encourage broader employment?
Well, thank you for that question. I'll actually answer that a little bit differently. For the county actually has a staffing crisis in a lot of their departments. We have a public safety crisis in this county, and there are investments and there are changes that are needed at the county level to actually increase the employment in staffing levels in our internal departments. I started with saying we've had a public safety crisis in DeKalb County. I'll work with the DeKalb County School District to start 2 career pathways programs. We'll actually teach EMS in our public schools, and we'll start up career pathways programs for public safety as well. As long as students graduate from high school, stay out of trouble, we'll guarantee them a job at DeKalb County in a number of positions. And when those students age into the certifications at 18 and 21 years old, we'll work through those positions in DeKalb County. They'll graduate with no collegiate debt and all of it covered by the county. We have I believe it's the only way that we'll actually fix the big staffing crises. I'm also a big proponent of employee unions. That includes public unions and private unions. It's no surprise that we've lost 50% of our police force in 10 years. When you look at union cities like Chicago and Miami that don't have the same problems that DeKalb County does, and I believe it's due to the lack of unions in the South.
Thank you. And moving on to District 4, Mr. Hammonds.
Thank you for the
Same question.
question.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you for the question. That's one that's been on my mind quite a bit as I move around the county and talk to businesses and developers that want to move to DeKalb County. We've got to do more to attract businesses to our county. I believe we're losing out to surrounding counties due to the perception that DeKalb is a difficult place to do business. Now, we're making progress, but we're not there yet. I would look at ways to improve our customer service and our standing operating procedures. So when businesses come to DeKalb, they feel like they're welcome and they want to bring their business here. I'm sick and tired of seeing all the development stop in counties around us and not in our county. We should be the destination of choice for all small business and large investment in DeKalb County. And the way we do that, we have to invest in our own county with public safety, schools, and the whole 9 yards to make this the most attractive place possible. But we do have to reach out to the businesses. We have to look at our internal systems, and we have to make DeKalb the best place to do business. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Shakira Johnson, same question. What policy changes or investments are necessary to encourage broader employment?
Thank you for that question. To encourage broader employment in the county, investments in public safety and infrastructure are necessary. To attract new businesses and new industries, we need to have the resources they need: improve water, sanitary sewer system, fix the potholes, build sidewalks, improve traffic flow. The county needs to be business friendly and ensure permitting and obtaining business licenses can be done as efficiently as possible. Investing in our county employees that provide these services is critical. Improve our employees' salaries, improve their benefits, and add additional positions when needed, especially in our public safety sector and our permitting sector. I think it's time that we revisit our employment levels to make sure we're servicing all the new businesses trying to come into DeKalb County. Thank you.
Ms. Johnson. Ms. Gabrielle Rogers, same question. What policy changes or investments are necessary to encourage broader employment?
Well, thank you so much for that question. So, of course, policy changes and strategic investments are essential to encourage broader employment opportunities here in our county. But firstly, focusing on workforce development programs tailored to the needs of local industries can equip residents with the skills required for high-demand jobs. Additionally, investing in infrastructure improvements such as transportation networks and broadband access can enhance connectivity and attract businesses to the area. Moreover, offering tax incentives and grants to small businesses and startups is so important and can stimulate entrepreneurship and job creation. Our county can foster a dynamic and inclusive economy by prioritizing these initiatives, ensuring their prosperity for all residents. And lastly, we have a work-ready workforce with 2-year colleges here in our county that will partner with these institutions to train them. Thank you.
So District 5, Ms. Gina Smith Mangum, same question. What policy changes or investments are necessary to encourage broader employment?
Well, again, I'm going to start with the how. We must restore pride in our communities. We need to enforce code. The first thing I would do is look at our code enforcement policy. As an attorney, I've looked very closely at the code, and for some reason, we can't seem to enforce it. We need to spend some time rewriting the code and find a way to enforce some of the things that are going on in the county that make it unattractive for others to come here. We also need to just flat out pay our police officers with pay and benefits that are attractive. Not only attractive on a national scale, but we have to be competitive on a local scale. It's my understanding that we're using a national average. What we need to do is use the average that's here in the Atlanta area. There's just no way around that. We need to prioritize cleaning up public spaces and maintaining them. Once we do that, we can start to move into bigger programs that offer job opportunities, such as partnering with larger businesses, promoting small businesses to be subcontractors. We need to take a whole new look at our contracting process to make sure we have incentive for businesses to develop and grow in DeKalb County. These are the priorities.
We have to go to the next person. I'm sorry. Thank you. The second question is, what one part of county government would receive more attention if you were elected? And this question will start with Mr. Andy Yeoman. And just to reiterate to the candidates, these questions are, I believe, 90 seconds. So I'm going to ask you all to please adhere to the time so that everyone has an opportunity to answer their questions so that we can start on time and end on time. So I'm going to go back to question 2, and this question is to Mr. Yeoman. What one part of county government would receive more attention if you were elected? 90 seconds, please.
Well, I'll start by answering that from the perspective of District 1 that is mostly municipalized, where the overwhelming majority of their residents are served locally by their cities. Now, I care very much about the unincorporated areas just as much as the incorporated areas, but I believe that the county is much better served by refocusing their efforts rather on providing best in class on countywide services. Now, this includes the terrible condition of our jail, addressing the inadequate response of the unhoused migration as the city of Atlanta closes the camps and they migrate towards Atlanta, committing the county to serve the entire county better on issues of mental health services and homelessness. Honestly, we have better and safer facilities in this county for a billionaire's $80 million airplane than someone sitting in jail on a shoplifting misdemeanor. It is morally and ethically wrong, and we can do better as a county.
Thank you. And I do apologize. It is 60 seconds. So everyone, please accept my sincere apology. The same question to Mr. Lance Hammonds.
Thank you,
Do I need to repeat the question?
No.
Okay.
The thing that I would change that would receive more attention under my watch is, first of all, is public safety. We've got to ensure that our neighborhoods are safe. And so I would start by recruiting and retaining more police officers and public safety officers. And I say public safety officers because that would include fire, 911 operators, and animal control staff. And I would also make a commitment to increasing the number of cameras that we have in our community, which is the use of technology and drones. A lot of communities around us are doing that. They're enhancing their police forces and supplementing the number of people they have on the street. But also with technology, I think that could be the answer to getting more of our young people interested in law enforcement. So those are the two things that I would pay close attention with coming right in.
I couldn't hear you, but I think that next question is to me.
Yes.
I can't hear.
Johnson? Yes.
Thank you. I would also focus on public safety, and that includes police, fire, and 911. Public safety is critical, and I will request that we look at the feasibility of increasing staffing and salaries for our officers, firefighters, and 911 staff. Police departments in the metro area are all struggling to retain officers. We need to ensure that we are being competitive with our salaries and our benefits. I've also heard complaints from citizens on the 911 system, so I will also look into how we can support the emergency operators, ensuring we have more officers on patrol to answer calls, operators answering the phone, and firefighters responding to emergency calls. We will increase the overall safety of the county, and that is one of my top priorities. Thank you.
I can't hear.
I think you said Ms. Rogers. Okay, perfect. So each agency of the county government is essential, but I will focus on those agencies that deal with economic development, public safety, and housing. So these departments are crucial in addressing various community needs, including housing, economic development, neighborhood revitalization. By allocating more services, resources, and attention to this department, elected officials can prioritize initiatives aimed at affordable housing and infrastructure improvements, as well as small business support, therefore, by enhancing residents' overall quality of life. Additionally, focusing on community development can also help stimulate economic growth, attract investment, and promote social equity within our county. By elevating the importance of these departments, I will demonstrate my commitment to fostering a thriving and inclusive community here in DeKalb. Thank you.
I'm not hearing, I'm not hearing anything. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not able to hear. If it's my turn, I'll go ahead and speak.
Gina, go ahead and answer the question while we wait for Amaryllis, please.
Sorry, go ahead, Ms. Mango.
Okay. Everybody's talked about public safety, and I've spoken on how it's a priority, and that includes firefighters as well as our 911 system and all of our public safety officers. So I'll address the contracts issue. One of the areas I think we really need to look at is how we contract and whether or not we should be including extensions, whether or not we are looking at the performance levels of those contracts, and whether or not change orders should be approved once they've been awarded the contract. What I found is that oftentimes we continue to use the same contractors, and maybe it's not the most efficient and fiscally responsible way to go. So I would take a look at our contracting process, and perhaps we can identify funds to pay for police officers, public safety, and other things that the county needs.
Thank you, Ms. Mango. Commissioner Patrick,
All
same
right,
question.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
In my opinion, probably the most pressing section or component of the county that needs attention is going to be staffing overall. Literally every department is in need of help, whether it's the first responders, whether it's permitting, planning and zoning, plan reviewing, procurement, 911, which has also been mentioned recently. We have really capable, very qualified, some of the smartest people I've met in government at DeKalb County. But frankly, they are overworked and they need help. And that would be, from my perspective, working with the new CEO's office to encourage hiring as many employees as appropriate in those different departments. Oftentimes, we hear complaints about residents who are on hold for extended periods of time. It's just simply a matter of we do not have enough staff. We have very capable staff, but it's getting those staffing numbers up to where they need to be. To just touch on a couple other components, code enforcement, if I understand correctly, we only have 57 officers for the county. And so that's a fantastic area to pay attention to, ramp up the level of services that we need to have there. Of course, planning and sustainability, those are the guys that review permits, as well as business licenses. There was a ratio that came out of one of the committees that said that a rough estimate is one plan reviewer for 77 plans. Having been a plan reviewer, that ratio is not sustainable where you can have that level of service and quality service that I think the residents and the businesses expect from the county. And so for me, I would be making an effort to put a lot of attention onto increasing our staffing levels. Thank you. And we can't hear you again. Not yet.
Say something else, Amaryllis. You're breaking up. Steve, we may need you to jump in.
Was the last question number 2?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Okay, while we work this out, our next question is, do you plan to promote any changes to existing taxes? And if so, why? Commissioner Patrick.
Thank you for that very easy question. I appreciate that. Actually, I think right now the current system we have, and it is something that is not perfect, but under the current system, we have eHost, which pays a portion of the property taxes that all DeKalb County residents bear, whether you're within a municipality or unincorporated DeKalb County. That measure was approved overwhelmingly by the residents in 2023, and that will deliver, as far as eHost, $1 billion worth of tax abatements, tax subsidies, the government paying your taxes. which I think is a fantastic idea. So I will acknowledge there are problems with the current system, but I would say that what we have works, generally speaking. I'd also like to say that, this is something that is affordable in that we were also able to make modifications to the senior exemptions at the county level. In fact, I had the opportunity to work with Tax Commissioner Irvin Johnson's office to promote that and push that through the legislature and ultimately get served by the governor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Mr. Yeoman, same question.
Sure. A lot has been said tonight about, or a lot has been spoken tonight about public safety. DeKalb County doesn't have a revenue problem. They have just never been able to figure out, quite frankly, how to spend the money. The commission has already raised stormwater fees by 150%. In 2022, they raised the water and sewer fees by 6%. They increased the public safety millage rate for unincorporated residents and the residents of Tucker and Stonecrest by 17% last year. But the question really is, what did we get from it? This year, there's $10 million in vacancy in the police department. There's a $26 million fund balance in the police department. The goal of public safety should never be about banking money. It should be about serving and protecting the residents of DeKalb County. The days of accepting mediocrity DeKalb Dems, they're over. We have an opportunity in this election to elect 4 brand new county commissioners and a new CEO on May 21st to finally impact positive change in DeKalb County. And I'm asking you to join this campaign by visiting my website, andyleeds.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yeoman. Same question. Lance Hammonds.
Yes, thank you for the question. And flat out, my answer is no. I don't plan on changing to the existing taxes. I believe we should live within our budget that we set and manage our funds appropriately. If there is a need to go outside of that budget that the citizens want, such as SPLOS, we have to go back and engage the citizen and ask them for their permission. Sooner or later, transportation is an area where the citizens will have to decide what they want to fund transit expansion beyond the penny we already pay MARTA. Again, I would go back to the citizens and ask for their permission and understand what they want. But we need to do a better job using our funds efficiently to serve the citizens of DeKalb.
Thank you, Mr. Hammond. And Shakira Johnson.
Yes, thank you for the question. At this time, I also do not have any specific changes to our tax structure. I was also excited as Commissioner Patrick to see that last year that the citizens did vote to reinstate or continue the e-host program, which is used to reduce property taxes for qualified homeowners. And given the challenges that DeKalb faces with having enough healthy, safe, and accessible housing for our workforce, I will be an advocate for measures like e-host to help reduce our property taxes. This is one step toward making homes more affordable. I will also support exploring any alternatives that keep taxes low while also providing the needed services of the citizens. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that response. Gabrielle Rogers, same question.
Yes, thank you. I have a short and sweet answer for you. So as a county commissioner, I will look for other innovative ways to generate revenue for the county, but always the priority is maintaining the county's quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And finally, Ms. Mangum.
Well, certainly, I would not look at increasing taxes. However, we need to really look at how we're spending money. People are not happy with the road construction on the SPLOST. I think the SPLOST has very lofty goals. I think it's a good thing to have. And we do need to fix our streets. But we need to look at the quality of work. Almost everyone I've spoken to has said that they fix potholes, and the next thing you know, the pothole is back again a week or 2 weeks later. So we need to control the quality of our spending and make sure that those dollars are spent wisely. As an aside, if I could get rid of the MARTA tax, I would. It's just unacceptable that we in Southeast DeKalb have received virtually no benefit from the MARTA tax, and we are funding the running of a system that does not benefit us.
Thank you so much, Ms. Magnum, for that response. And let's check back with Amaryllis and see how her sound's doing. Amaryllis?
Steve, can you hear me now?
Yes.
We're
Great
good?
question.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much, Mr. Parker. We're moving on to question 4. What do you see as the most pressing needs for infrastructure or capital projects in the county? And this question will start with Ms. Shakira Johnson.
Thank you for that. The most pressing infrastructure needs are our underground utilities, which includes water, sanitary sewer, and our stormwater systems. We must ensure that we are adhering to the consent decree. We recently had yet another large water main break that shut off water for many of our residents. As a civil engineer with 20 plus years of experience, I've engineered water main replacement projects, upgraded sanitary sewer systems, and designed stormwater conveyance systems. This experience makes me uniquely qualified. I know how to read engineering plans, the bidding and procurement process, and the construction process. Additionally, as a council member in Stone Mountain, we have the responsibility for expenditures of SPLOST $1. And I'm excited to be that the county and the citizens approved the SPLOST 2. It's time for us to put those dollars to work and to start fixing these issues that are a detriment to our county. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Gabrielle Rogers, same question.
Thank you for that question. So several pressing needs in our county infrastructure and capital projects demand attention. So among these, upgrading and maintaining the transportation network is a top priority. Improving roads, bridges, and public transit systems can alleviate traffic congestion, enhance connectivity, and ensure safe travel for residents and commuters. Additionally, investing and continuing to improve water and sewage infrastructure is crucial to address aging systems and accommodate population growth. Upgrading these systems not only ensures access to clean water, but also promotes public health and environmental sustainability. Furthermore, investing in broadband infrastructure is essential to bridge the digital divide and provide equitable access to high-speed internet, enabling residents to participate fully in the digital economy. By addressing these critical infrastructure needs, our county can lay the foundation for sustainable growth, resilience, and prosperity for its residents, and need for improvements. Thank you.
Ms. Gina Magnum, please.
Yes, I agree that the water system is in need. And I remember years ago that DeKalb County had very good water. Of late, we have had a lot of problems with boiling water warnings. Our quality of water is down, and I'm disappointed that we again extended the work that's needed to be done on the federal consent decree. So fulfilling the requirements of the consent decree is the number one. We need transportation. Southeast DeKalb has virtually no transportation, and transportation drives development. So we need to improve our infrastructure in terms of transportation so that we can move beyond where we are now.
Thank you for your response. Commissioner Patrick, same question.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, continued investments in the water and sewer system that are in compliance with the federal consent decree are absolutely critical. The more progress we make with that, the fewer gross emails go out talking about sewer spills and other activities like that. It's also important to remember that a lot of our infrastructure, particularly in the water and sewer system, is in the 100-year range. 60 to 80 years range, and I think some of the youngest might be in the 40-year range. So all of our infrastructure is something that is going to need continued attention and support. This also goes to stormwater. The county is working on a stormwater master plan, and I think once that is ready to be released to the public, of course, as the chairman of the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee, we'll have the first chance to review that with the public. Absolutely critical as it protects property values for our residential and commercial properties. Final quick thing to say, the non-restricted SPLOST, brought in $496 million of money for public safety, transportation, multi-generational recreation, community purposes, specifically $15 million towards a mental health facility and $7.5 million towards an animal welfare facility, which I have supported. Thank you.
Please, same question.
I'm sorry, was that for me?
Yes.
Okay, you cut out there, I'm sorry. Much has been said about the infrastructure. What I believe the question said, what is the most pressing needs, infrastructure or capital projects? And so I'll talk about the capital projects. The commissioner just mentioned that the Mental Health Crisis Center. We have a mental health crisis center in this county that has 36 beds. On the average night, only 20 of those are full because the county refused to staff the center so they can actually treat patients. What he also failed to say is there's money in the SPLOST of the Mental Health Crisis Center, but it doesn't fully fund it. So it's not going to get built until it's fully funded. The Board of Commissioners, the next Board of Commissioners, needs to make sure that that is fully funded. Over a year ago, the county funded a temporary animal shelter. And someone forwarded me an email recently that said that we hope that the animal shelter gets built soon. DeKalb Dems, my hope is that the residents of DeKalb County quit accepting hope as a strategy and ask more from its elected leaders with more than just empty promises and actually build the things that are in the budget that they put money for and actually help the people and animals and human beings in this county. Thank you.
Respectfully, I do want to correct the record on that. When it comes to the mental health facility, it is partially funded, but that is also something that falls within the state's jurisdiction. To assume that DeKalb County taxpayers should bear all of the financial burden for addressing the homelessness issue, which is a regional issue, truly a statewide issue, is a misstatement and a misunderstanding of the facts. Thank you.
Next, please. Same question.
I think you call me Amaryllis.
Yes.
I'm going to keep it real simple. I get more questions from my neighbors and residents about resurfacing streets. When is my street going to get done? My street hadn't been done in so many years. I mean, over and over and over again. They look at the piecemeal fashion that the streets are being repaved. So we need to continue and up the ante on getting the streets in DeKalb County surfaced. I know the county is moving forward. They're doing the best we can, but we need to get that out there. We also need to communicate with the community on how this process goes forward. I don't think a lot of people understand how the streets are paved and what the priority lists are. The second thing is, and I'm really passionate about this, is that we have to invest in the revitalization of Memorial Drive. Commissioner Bradshaw put together a concept plan that put it together, nice pictures and everything. But to move Memorial Drive forward, we need to invest in capital projects in the Memorial Drive corridor. Spend money, invest money, we'll see results.
On to question 5. The question is, should the county encourage building and development? And we're going to start with Ms. Gabrielle Rogers.
Thank you for that question. So I believe our county should strategically and encourage building and development to foster economic growth and meet the evolving needs of our community. Encourage or responsible development can stimulate job creation, attract investment, and broaden the tax base, providing vital resources for essential services and infrastructure improvements. However, balancing development with environmental sustainability is very crucial. Ensure that our citizens enjoy high quality of life, equitable housing policies, and community engagement to ensure positive outcomes for all residents. By promoting smart growth practices such as mixed-use development, transit-oriented design, and green infrastructure, we can create vibrant, walkable neighborhoods while preserving our natural resources and enhancing quality of life as well. As stewards of our county's future, it is imperative to approach development oversight, collaboration, and commitment to building a thriving, inclusive community to future generations. And due to the future of our overwhelming growth, we need to evaluate what those infrastructure needs are. Thank you.
Ms. Rogers. Gina Mangum, please. Same question.
Yeah. I believe the county's been encouraging and building and development for a long time. What we need to do is build and develop. We need to put together concrete plans with costs and timelines so that we understand what the needs are, what the timeline is, and when we can expect to deliver. The county needs to start to deliver, and we as commissioners need to take leadership in making sure that that happens. Again, I'll mention transit because transit attracts development. All you need to do is look at Lindbergh, Perimeter, Sandy Springs. All of these areas have developed around transit, because that's what brings people and improves markets. So instead of doing plans, we paid a lot of consultants to do plans. What we need to do is implement those plans and start to bring the county forward.
Ms. Mangum. Commissioner Patrick, same question, please.
Thank you very much. Excuse me. Yes, I do think we should be encouraging building and development within the county. I do think that growth is the best thing that helps raise all boats in our economy. Of course, right now we have about 3% unemployment rate in Georgia, which is a very good thing, but we need housing options for people. Housing prices keep spiraling up. And the jobs do not catch up, or I should say the salaries are not catching up sufficiently to help pay for everything. So again, we do need to have more housing options here in the county, but it also needs to be done in a way that protects existing houses and communities. A way that I've been looking at doing that is taking some of the existing vacant office space and converting that into housing options, either for redevelopment or for repurposing of those buildings. The county has also recently updated the 2050 comprehensive plan, which combines transportation and zoning together, which is sort of an innovative approach to approach this issue. The one downside to that, though, is that the county still has a lot of old codes, so zoning, business regulations, things like that need to be updated as well to go with that. But that again to say, yes, absolutely, growth is a good solution for many of the problems that we have. It presents more opportunities for jobs. Again, that housing component is absolutely critical so that we can address some of the homelessness as well as free up people's incomes. You know, you don't want to spend a tremendous amount of money on a place to live and then you're not able to go out and pay your bills or enjoy time with your family. So thank you very much.
Mr. Yeoman, please, same question.
Sure. So it's a good question, and I think all of us are going to be in favor of actually building and development in this county. But the question that I would ask is for whom? In this election, we get to decide if it's for the people of the county or the powerful of the county. And I believe we should be building and building communities and building development in this county for the people. One thing I promise, I won't cast the tie-breaking vote against the wishes of the commissioners that represent an area to grant a $15 million tax abatement on Druid Hills Road to a New York developer that has $60 billion in assets that will hurt the children, the school system in this community, and the county provide services that the people need. The PDK Airport is already the largest polluter of lead in Georgia. And I promise again that I won't be the tie-breaking vote to poison our residents over the interests of the billionaire class. I'm also the only candidate that has pledged not to accept campaign contributions from the company that stands to gain a $580 million contract at the airport. It's ethically and morally wrong, and we can do better as a county.
I would like to address that again. To be clear, the development that happened on Druid Hills was specifically targeted so that the employees of the Board of Education would first have an opportunity for affordable housing units in that development. That's the first thing. The second thing, I spoke with Commissioner Ted Terry about that project before it was approved, and he had said that he was looking to have up to 60% affordable housing included in that development, even a few units. I was able to get a 3-bedroom apartment at 60% affordable housing, 2 studio apartments at 60% affordable housing, as well as a single bedroom unit at 60% affordable housing unit. When it comes to the airport, no one has taken campaign contributions from the airport, so it's a great misargument once again. It is concerning. I should say this is more indicative of my competitor's performance, though, because he has sort of a series of issues with ethical lapses. Thank you.
I wasn't aware that we were doing responses, but
guys, hello, everyone here. Hi guys, it's Brandy White, Chair of DeKalb County Dems. I'm going to pause us here for a moment. These are forums. These are forums to inform voters of your platforms and what you intend to do. This is not a debate stage. So I just want to make sure that we are focused on your platform and what you intend to do and not attacking or making statements towards your opponents. Okay.
Thank you.
We're going to focus on your platforms, what you intend to do, what you intend to do for the voters and for the constituents of DeKalb County. All right. Thank you all.
The next person is Mr. Lance Hammond. The same question on the infrastructure.
No, this is the one
Number
on
5.
building and development.
Should the county encourage building and development?
Absolutely. I chair the Rockbridge Coalition of Neighborhoods, and we get involved in zoning and planning when things come to our neighborhood. And we've come to the realization that to get the development we want, we need to increase the density and the median incomes in our community. So we are all for that. What we have to do is make sure that the vision of the citizens is heard in this process, and that their needs are taken care of as we grow and develop. We do need to do this, and I want to see this done on Memorial Drive. That's why I want to see the development on Memorial Drive. I want to be real specific, because during my term, I want us to be able to drive down Memorial Drive and see a difference. So that's where I'm encouraging more building and development, and to get those developers to come in and investors to come in, we have to make sure that our process is smooth and inviting and business friendly.
Thank you, Mr. Hammond. Same question, number 5, Ms. Shakira Johnson.
Yes, thank you. Yes, of course, the county should be encouraging building and development, but it should be done in a responsible way. The county should ensure that new development is in line with any future land use plans, comprehensive plans. If we need to rehab our zoning and ordinances to be in line with these, we need to be working on that as well. And critical is making sure that any new development meets the desires of the surrounding community. Particularly in District 4, the revitalization of Memorial Drive is critical not only for the overall health of the district, but of DeKalb County, because District 4 is in the heart of DeKalb County. It's been spoken on before that there is a plan that Commissioner Bradshaw was integral in starting. It's time that we continue the plan and make sure we actually implement the plan, put the funding towards it, to make sure that in the next 4 years, we can see more development on Memorial Drive. It has started, but it is slow. These type of developments and overall redevelopment of areas can take time. Encouraging development also will increase access to jobs, which can help with affordable housing issues, which is facing many of our residents. However, to be successful in recruiting new businesses.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, I couldn't see her. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to move on to question 6, and it is, what is your experience with preparing or authorizing budgets? And we'll start with Ms. Gina Mangum on question 6.
Thank you. And in the interest of time, I did fail to mention that I was executive director of a nonprofit development corporation responsible for developing affordable housing. I was responsible for the budget, fundraising. We had to raise our own money. But what I really learned from that experience is how to use all available resources. The funny thing about a nonprofit is you don't get funded unless you deliver. And I think as commissioners, we need to take that stand. We need to deliver when we are looking at projects, looking at funding, and looking at how to develop. We not only have to look at how the development affects our neighbors, but we also have to look at what we are doing and whether or not it is coming to fruition. So I know that the process is slow, but the process is even slower when you don't begin. I have also was managing attorney at Legal Aid, responsible for the budget for a new office. I opened an office and served as managing attorney. And now I am a trustee in my role as an attorney. I manage assets of over $1 million for trust. And so I am very familiar with how to manage budgets and also how to manage money and make the most of it.
Thank you, Ms. Mangum. Commissioner Patrick, same question, please.
Thank you very much. During my service as an elected official, I have reviewed and approved budgets annually. That's 8 years at the city of Doraville. and 4 years here at the Board of Commissioners. Typically what I do is I speak with the chief operating officer here at the county. At the municipal level, I spoke with the city manager, got an understanding of the direction of where they want to go with the budget. Also looked at the realities of what the revenues are to support those expectations. Currently, the DeKalb County budget is $1.74 billion. That's the largest that I've worked with in my career. And again, it involves a lot of conversation and talking with department heads, talking with the finance department. We also have at the DeKalb County Board of Commissioners central staff, which also is able to follow up on questions that we have and look into specific items or funding concerns within the budget. Thank you.
Same question.
Okay, I'll go ahead. I think I bring a unique experience both from the private sector and local experience, which highlights my commitment for fiscal responsibility, strategic planning, and community engagement. In the past, I've been a business owner, primarily responsible for making weekly payroll for, we had about 40 people on the payroll that was dependent on me for their livelihood. The role instilled in me the importance of financial prudence, strategic decision-making, and the profound impact that leadership can have on people's lives. Currently, I hold a senior leadership position for a $6 billion packaging company, where I'm responsible for overseeing a business unit of that company that has a budget of about $30 to $32 million a year. Thank you.
Emerald, I think you called me. My career has been in sales and marketing. The largest budget I prepared and implemented was $15 million. I managed the business for a commodity trading company on the Southeast region. So I had to get the business contracting and do the whole 9 yards and collect the money for it. So that was the largest budget. I also served as a term in the county, an appointed position as chair of the DeKalb Public Safety and Judicial Facilities Authority. And that was the authority that had bonding that developed and implemented a lot of the courthouses and the renovations there. During my term, we refinanced the bond at a lower rate, and we saved the county approximately $5 million by doing that. I also served as fundraising chair for the DeKalb Dems the year Ossoff and Warnock were elected to the Senate. Our committee set records for fundraising. So I know how to set a budget, achieve a budget, bring it in, sell it, collect it, the whole 9 yards. Thank you.
Same question. What is your experience with preparing or authorizing budgets?
Thank you.
You're
As a
welcome.
council member for City of Stone Mountain, which is the legislative body for the city, one of our biggest responsibilities is passing a budget and setting the millage rate. Cities are required to pass a balanced budget, so I have 16 years of experience with authorizing and understanding government budgets. While on council, I have approved budgets that unfortunately required employee furloughs during the recession, ensured no employees lost their jobs during the pandemic, and budgets that have now allowed for an 18% raise and bonuses to all our employees. So with my experience on Stone Mountain City Council, I have 16 years of experience implementing, approving, and overseeing government budgets. Thank you.
Juice?
Okay. So as a strategic business professional expert with a proven track record of success in fiscal responsibility and business development, Fortune 500 companies, and large-scale nonprofits, I possess the knowledge and leadership skills to guide teams on the path to success. Through my extensive experience, I'll be able to ask the right questions for those preparing those budgets. My passion for speaking up for those who cannot speak for themselves prompted me to accept a position as a marketing sales director as a major entertainment holding company in Metro Atlanta, where I manage millions of dollars to create jobs, opportunities, increase minimum wages, and offer medical benefits to hourly wage workers. Thank you.
7. If new resources were available, what one area of county services would you feel most needs additional resources? And we will start with Commissioner Patrick.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to sort of repeat the answer I gave earlier, which is going to be human resources or human staffing for all of the departments that we have. Again, whether it's first responders, planning and zoning, procurement, sanitation. The county has been doing some excellent work trying to squeeze the most value out of the existing dollars that we have, but frankly, we just need more staff. And so finding ways to attract more employees would be a priority if we had all of those resources. When it comes to more experienced employees, this notion of the golden handcuffs, which is an enhanced pension system, so that retirees will be able to have a little extra money when they retire. For younger employees, I would be willing to consider, or going to start the conversation on things like maternity and paternity leave, so we can attract younger employees. Recognizing that not everyone wants to have a family, I would also look to expanding leave benefits. Some of the other things that we've been talking about, I had the opportunity to go to NACO, the National Association of County Commissioners, and some of the cutting edge stuff that's happening around the country includes things like pet insurance. So anything that would attract an employee to want to work at DeKalb County is sort of on the table for consideration, in my opinion. And again, those resources should be put towards our employees. They are the customer service providers for our organization, and those are the people that see us. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Yeoman, same question, please.
Sure. So hopefully it doesn't shock anybody to say that I completely agree with my opponent that if there are additional resources in the county, we need to take care of people. And that includes all living things, I think, in the county, both our animals and our people populations. It's time that we recognize that I consider it kind of a destructive crisis of mass incarceration of people and animals in DeKalb County, and the struggles that we have in those facilities in the county really lies at the hands of local government, and we need to fix it. The next commission needs to fix that. And I will work hard every day as your commissioner to end the cycle and actually help people. And we have an opportunity in this election, as I mentioned before, to elect 4 new county commissioners and a CEO on May 21st to finally impact positive change in DeKalb County. And I'd ask you, and I appreciate all the support, and I'd ask you to join this campaign. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lance Hammond, same question, please.
Thank you for the question. And this one is personal for me. I like going to parks. I like green space. I like walking around. I like fresh air. If we had the extra resources, I would invest in our parks and green spaces. I want DeKalb County to have the best parks in the DeKalb, in the metro area. I would like to see our parks upgraded. I like to see more parks than the ones we have upgraded. And this would include more dog parks at the parks, community gardens, walking trails, just having a place to go, having a place where people can take their families and just relax and play and have fun. We don't have enough of those parks in our community, and we can do better with that. And again, additional resources. If we have additional resources, I want it on Memorial Drive, so we can invest in Memorial Drive and start the revitalization of that corridor. Thank you.
Shakira Johnson, please, same question.
Yes, thank you. With additional resources, I think we need to be focusing on solutions for the increase in our unhoused population here in the county, especially along the Memorial Drive corridor. When I'm commuting up and down Memorial Drive every day, I'm seeing that population has increased over the years. So I would like to see critical resources be put towards that in a holistic method, and making sure we address all those needs and why people are becoming unhoused. And then additionally, I know our animal services are in dire need of additional facilities and additional funding. So that would be another area that I would look at supporting.
Ms. Rogers, please.
Okay, well, Ms. Alexander, if I was forced to choose just one, I would allocate additional resources to the Department of Health and Human Services. This does not rule out that I deem that public safety is a higher priority. However, this area of county services plays a critical role in addressing various social and public health needs within our community. So investing in additional resources for health and human services can enhance access to healthcare, mental health support, substance abuse treatment, and social services for vulnerable populations. Moreover, bolstering these services can help address systemic disparities, promote wellness, and improve all residents' overall quality of life. Additionally, expanding resources in this area can contribute to preventive measures, reducing the strain on emergency services and long-term healthcare costs. Therefore, directing new resources to the Department of Health and Human Services aligns with our commitment to fostering a healthy, resilient, thriving community in DeKalb County. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers. Ms. Gina Mangum, please, same question.
Yes, and Lance, I'd like to introduce you to Arabia Mountain. It's one of the biggest parks that we have in the county, and it's underutilized.
I've
But
been there.
if we have resources available, it means we're not doing our job. I'm always amazed when a county or state says, oh, we have a surplus, and then it's under their discretion as to how to use that surplus. If we have resources available at the end of the year, then we need to figure out why we are not spending the money on the things that we need, because somewhere in the county, something didn't get done. When we have a budget, it should be balanced, and the balance should show where the services are and where the revenue is coming from. So if we have additional monies, we need to figure out what didn't get done and how to fix it. I'm all for having extra money to do extra things, but at a time like this, we don't have extra money, and we have a lot that needs to be done in DeKalb, and we need to figure out how to get it done with the existing resources.
Thank you, Ms. Mangum. Thank you for all of your responses. We do have a couple questions, I believe, from our audience, from our chat. And as we mentioned at the top of the hour, and the question is there an assessment of performance? Are these jobs posted on the county website? And if candidates do not meet qualifications, can any training be offered? And we're going to start with Mr. Andy Yeoman, please.
Sure. So in Georgia, both if you're an elected municipal leader or you're elected county leader, or if you're an elected judge, there's required training that is required for the state of Georgia. In my experience, that's pretty remedial, but there is training that's required from the state of Georgia. And then there's training every year that both the elected officials go to or can choose to go to. In terms of requirements, you have to be a legal resident. You have to be a registered voter. You have to live in your district, and you can't be a felon. I think it's the only requirements in the state of Georgia, unless I'm missing a few, to be an elected official.
Say it again, Rose.
Yes, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I didn't hear you ask.
Okay, yeah.
The requirements, Mr. Yeoman, did bring out the basic requirements, but the real requirement is, are you serving the people of your district? Are you listening to the people of your district? Are you being accountable to the people in your district? And each year, are you reporting back to them what you've done, how you've done, and assess where you are with that? And that's one of the things that I will do when elected as commissioner, is that, each year we go back and look at what we accomplished, what we didn't accomplish, and reassess and move forward. So I think that the key thing is you have to be accountable to the people of your district. You have to listen, you have to advocate, you have to fight for them to get the job done based on what they're asking you to do.
Thank you, Mr. Hammonds. Ms. Shakira Johnson, please, same question.
Yes, thank you. So I agree with both the gentlemen who have already spoken, actually. I think another side of that is, every 4 years, the citizens have a right to say whether or not we have done a good job. And, to ensure that incumbent gets reelected, you have to make sure that you have done a good job, that you have listened to the citizens, you've gone to that training to try and find some innovative measures to bring back to your county. So, like was mentioned before, I think being innovative, being communicative with the community, listening to them, and then proceeding to find solutions are critical for a county commissioner.
Thank you. Ms. Gabrielle Rogers, please.
Yeah, so I would just only add that to initially get involved in your community. So it's all great to be able to know the basic requirements, but are you well connected with understanding the issues? Have you joined any community service organizations that are also connected with the issue? So I would say don't start trying to serve now. Once you want to become an elected official, be able to already start doing the work of serving your community. That's the only thing I would add in addition to those comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gina Mangum, please.
Yes, I think what makes the commission work is when you have a breadth of talent. You have people with different skills. Not everybody has the same skills. For instance, I'm an attorney and I would be good at legislation. So I think working well with others and building on the talents of the whole commission can be very helpful for us to be effective. I mean, the report card is basically the election every 4 years. But in order to do that, we need to be more engaged. We need to listen to our constituents, but our constituents also have to have accessibility. I support having BOC meetings in the evenings. Almost all city councils meet in the evenings so that people can participate. People cannot participate in the process when the meetings are at 9 o'clock in the morning and no one's really available because they have other responsibilities like work. So we need to do a better job of engaging our citizens and not put it all on them.
Thank you. Patrick, same question.
If you could, would you mind repeating the question?
Is there an assessment of performance? Are these jobs posted on the county website? And if candidates do not meet qualifications, can any training be offered?
So as everyone has said, of course, GMA, ACCG, those are the organizations that offer training for elected officials. As my opponent said, they are somewhat basic, but they do get you in the general direction to get started. Of course, there's a book that the state has put together. It's about this thick, and it talks about every imaginable component of governing and the roles of elected officials. One thing that is also important, though, is how we behave outside of our role as the elected official. And I sort of believe that, as an elected official, we tend to be held to a higher standard. And so there's always this expectation that, are you following the law? Are you living by the law? Or are you getting special treatment? And so those are some of the things that I think people should be aware of and be concerned about when coming to choose the next elected official. Thank you.
Another question from the audience as well. And the question is, money is requisitioned to law enforcement, but can we increase funding for educators and more programs for kids after school? And we will start with Mr. Lance Hammonds.
The school district is separate from the county, but there are some areas that we can work with our school district, and schools are a passion of mine. We have the Police Athletic League that does basketball with kids in the afternoons. I'm a fan of the Wade Walker YMCA. They have a very active swim program over there that's that we work with the Police Athletic League. We need to look at the facilities in DeKalb County, the parks, our recreation facilities, to see if we can partner with the school district for more after-school programs to make sure that our children always have something to do. So that's how we will work with them. I know the county and the school district have started having regular meetings. We need to continue that, because if our schools are stronger, our county can be stronger. So we need to enhance the bond between DeKalb County and our school district.
Yes, thank you. Yes, again, our school district is a separate governing body that does have their a separate budget. But as Mr. Hammond stated, that I think it's important that the county the DeKalb County Board of Commissioners and the county government partners with the school board to ensure that all the services and needs of our citizens are being met, which education is a huge one. I think resources should be put towards our youth services for DeKalb County. That is a program that we have, just to make sure we're promoting it so people know it's available, and then making sure it has the resources it needs to expand services if needed so that the youth do have access to those after-school programs.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Ms. Gabrielle Rogers.
Yes, of course. I love this question because I would actually take it a little step further. So I would advocate for industry-supported training and employment opportunities. So what does that mean? So build relationships with union organizations, our school district as well, that have the capacity to offer apprenticeships and employment placement services to displaced residents, high school juniors, and senior and GED candidates, which means that I would propose a county labor roundtable to foster and support ongoing program that offers the DeKalb youth the opportunity to achieve. Thank you.
Gina Mangum.
Yes, I attended a seminar where there is an existing program where kids can do job training and then partner with specific companies to actually get job experience and a real job after they come out of high school. Not everybody is slated to go to college, but this program has been very successful, although it's on a rather small scale. So I think the county could play a big role in partnering with businesses we contract with, as well as corporations in the area to make sure that these opportunities are available and that there are enough available companies to sponsor these kids once they come out of that program. So I am really supportive of programs, that program and programs like it.
Thank you. And Commissioner Patrick.
Thank you. Would you mind repeating the question one more time?
The question is, money is requisitioned to law enforcement, but can we increase funding for educators and more programs for kids after school?
Absolutely. And as has been already stated, you know, the Board of Education is its own governing authority, its own taxing authority. And so any opportunities that we could have to partner with them, we absolutely should take that opportunity to do that. As Board of Commissioners, you know, I was able to host a joint meeting between the Board of Education as well as the Board of Commissioners. Unfortunately, it was about the public safety requirements or needs for public schools these days, but the Board of Education has a very sound program, at least it appeared to be a very sound program for the safety of our children. Of course, DeKalb County Chief of Police was there on the call as well, and also said that DeKalb County police officers are there to serve as a support role and come in and assist in any way should anything happen. And so starting the conversation is very important. I have had opportunities, again, through that development opportunity to bring $2 million to the Board of Education, as well as looking into ways to partner with Georgia Piedmont Tech, as well as the Board of Education. Thank you very much.
Moving on to the next question here from the audience. What do you plan to do about home ownership by out-of-state investors that are not maintained or managed? The volume of rental homes is not available for people seeking ownership locally. And we will start this question with Mr. Lance Hammonds.
Okay. That's a very good question. I'm a realtor and I see it all the time. And that's why rents are high and people are having trouble keeping their homes. One of the things we can do with that is that this is an issue that's larger than the county. We've got to have some work with our state and national legislators to control this. We need to look at the various HOAs. I'm active in my homeowners association. So HOAs have to do a better job keeping track of what's going on in their communities and bring it forward. So it's a question that's come up a lot. All neighborhoods are struggling with it. And that process is impacting the inventory of housing and driving up the numbers. But we do need to take a serious look at how we can slow that trend and put more homes in the hands of DeKalb families and not outside investors.
Johnson, same question, please.
Yes, thank you. So I actually, some friends of mine recently moved into the area and they ran into this issue as they were trying to rent their home. These large corporations has the rules so restrictive that it was almost impossible for them to find a home in our area to rent. So we need to be looking at what the rules, the ordinances that need to be implemented to combat these issues, because it is impacting everyone within the county. As far as the upkeep of the properties, we've talked about resources for existing departments, and one of those would be code enforcement, making sure they have the staffing levels they need to be and to ensure that these issues are being addressed, and they can find these out of state, out of country landowners and enforce these codes on them. So it's a multiple part solution that's going to take a lot of work to accomplish.
Johnson, Ms. Gabrielle Rogers, same question, please. Ms. Gabrielle Rogers.
Oh, I was talking good too, Ms. Alexander. But of course, it is a multiple solutions to this matter. But as I kind of stated earlier about the attracting the broad range of residents and the varying of inclusivity, but also making sure that our most vulnerable are protected. So as you know, District 4 is home to our refugee communities, and many of them have been taken advantage of in those rental properties as well. So, and also we have an issue with our squatters. And so being able to, again, I stated earlier, honoring the county and the state housing laws and ordinances as the county commissioner, making sure that those laws and enforcements are being they're being held accountable. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mangum, please, same question.
Yes. The problem is we are unable to enforce code. That's the first problem we have. And again, it does need to be rewritten. We need to have tougher restrictions on how properties are allowed to exist in our county, as well as restrictions on what can be done with them. I know investors are coming in, they make it very tough, but we don't really have any restrictions on what they can do within the limits of the law. So this is an area where we definitely need to set policy. We also need to look at our land bank. At one time, we did have a land bank, but it really didn't function. I started a land bank when I was at in Atlanta doing affordable housing development. And this is where abandoned properties were actually banked, and the county would work with investors to improve those properties. So at this point, there's a shortage of housing, and now the investors have been allowed to come in and control it. So we're going to have to look at policies within the law where we can control the investors. And we definitely need to increase penalties and stop letting these cases go where they just get away with paying a small penalty, which is just the cost of doing business.
Thank you, Ms. Mangum. Commissioner Patrick, same question.
All right. Excuse me. Thank you very much. So addressing the issue of out-of-state corporate ownership of housing units is a growing problem across the country. At the federal level, there were 2 congressional bills that were submitted, Stop Wall Street Landlords Act and End the Hedge Fund Control of American Homes Act. So I think perhaps the most effective solution we have right now, long-term speaking, is engaging our federal representatives and reminding them that this is a real pain point in all of our communities. The byproduct that we have ultimately, I think, is some of the homelessness problems in our communities is a reflective of the fact that we do not have the affordable housing options that our communities need. So I would say lobby our federal and state representatives. Another solution to this issue is simply to increase the housing stock. Again, look for those places that can protect existing single-family residential neighborhoods or apartment complexes, but look to build other housing options in places where the land is available. This is also going to be emblematic of some of the problems that we have because Atlanta is a very well-known or nationally known growth center. I believe we're now at 6.3 million residents, and most of our housing stock was built by the 1990s, perhaps the early 2000s. And so that's a challenge that we have to be able to address. A statement was made about code enforcement, and I do agree code enforcement is a way to ensure that properties are being properly maintained. But we need to have a way to locate the property owner and not ticket the resident who may not have the tools to maintain the property. And oftentimes property maintenance is included within the rental agreement, and then the property owner changes the terms. So we need to be able to reach out to the property owner and take care of those zoning or those conditions. Final thing, any new developments, a colleague of mine up in Forsyth County, they are looking into any new residential developments having sort of a percentage allowable of rental properties within that development. And that is something to consider. I don't think we would necessarily need to have an ordinance in place to support that. I think that's something that we could add through the zoning process and have that as a condition that gets added in through the approval process. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, was that for me? Yes. So I actually didn't get a chance to answer the last question, but that's fine. I'll kind of tie it into this one. That's a really great question. And I will be listening to the forums coming up from the DeKalb Dems, from the State House representatives, because as it relates to teacher pay, it's called QBE funding. It hasn't been updated since 1985 when Reagan was president. And that's going to take leadership at the state level. And hopefully those are questions that come up in these forums coming up with the state house legislatures. As it relates to the state law, or as it relates to the laws on housing, that also, there are states out there that ban the ownership of foreign investors of land. Iowa's one of them. They don't allow you to own farmland unless you're a United States resident. There are states out there that require rental registries and 12-month rental inspections, where every rental in the city or the county has to be inspected to make sure it's fit for consumption. Unfortunately, in Georgia, the legislature has never been willing to tackle those issues and make safe housing a priority in Georgia. And the same going back to the education question as well, they've never been willing to tackle the QBE funding to affect teacher pay.
Another question here. The question is, in your first 100 days in office, would you commit by taking steps towards the reinstatement of a moratorium on water shutoffs in DeKalb and work to reestablish trust with the community by including them in the process of creating effective policy solutions as opposed to being forced into the current payment plans for water for many of them that never use them? So we're going to start that question. Would you like for me to repeat this question? Okay, Ms. Shakira Johnson, would you start us off? And if you would like for me to repeat the question, please let me know.
I think I got the question, so I'll take a stab at it. It was a little longer. What I support in the first 100 days, a moratorium on the water bills. And I think I would support that. I know there's been, a new system was just implemented for the water billing system, and there's been a lot of issues that I've heard about that. So I think it is a good time let's take a step back. Let's make sure the system is in place and the processes are working as they should be to service the citizens as we need to be servicing the citizens. That should always be the foremost important thing that we're working towards. So I think I would support that.
I want to repeat this question again because it is longer than what we've had earlier. And the question is, in your first 100 days in office, would you commit to taking steps towards the reinstatement of a moratorium on water shutoffs in DeKalb and work to establish trust with the community by including them in the process of creating effective policy solutions as opposed to being forced into the current payment plans for water, many of them never used? And that will go to Ms. Gabrielle Rogers, please.
Thank you for reading the question. So I would commit to establishing the trust part, and I want to make sure that I'm always making an informed decision. So I would definitely make sure that I am committed to the trust and regaining the trust of our community to make that informed decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gina Mangum, same question, please.
I think I would support a moratorium. However, I would probably put a threshold on it. There are many parts of the community that are not experiencing this problem, and that does not mean that I'm not sympathetic to those who are. However, I don't see an overall moratorium on everyone as an effective solution. We can put a moratorium on those who are experiencing the problem based on some threshold. And then perhaps we need to put in place some kind of review process where you don't just dispute the bill like we currently do, but actually go through a review of what your history has been, why it's going up, so that we can actually get to the root of the problem. I know it can be billing, but there can be other issues. So we really need to study it before just calling an overall moratorium.
Commissioner Patrick, please, same question.
Thank you very much. As most of us know, DeKalb County had sort of a torturous experience when it came to water billing and the replacement of water meters, which led to the creation of the Watershed Management Billing Advisory Council. And they meet monthly and discuss topics going on with water billing. As I recall, I think back it was in 2017, 2018 timeframe, calls had reached as much as 1,000 per day. Those calls now, when it comes to water billing disputes, has gone down to about, I think it's less than 100 as of February. And to be clear, making a distinction between the new water billing system and water billing issues in general regarding payments. I'll say also that the county has done a lot of work to try and work with apartment complexes. I know with myself, I've even allocated money from the district reserve funds to try and help individuals that have problems with paying their bills, particularly during the COVID area. But I think that the county has a variety of flexible options right now that should be able to address most of the concerns and have a pretty flexible way of keeping people able to pay their water bills. So as of right now, I think the system we have right now, granted, once again, not perfect, but I do think it meets the needs, and I think we have a system that works. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's an interesting question, and I'm not going to, as an elected official, as a past elected official and a future county commissioner, I'm not going to act like I have all the answers. And this is an interesting question, and because I hadn't heard this issue recently, but it was a serious issue several years ago. But what I will say is the reason these questions probably keep coming up is because the county in the past has a troubled history of being very dismissive to resident concerns until it reaches a crisis level. And that's exactly what happened in the water billing crisis is, for months and months and months, people had these outrageous water bills, and it was a very dismissive response from the county. So the person that asked the question, I'm not, sure who it was, but they're probably tied up into that. And we need, as a county, as an elected official, we need to do better, need to do a much better job of being reactionary to concerns as they come up before they reach crisis levels. So the experience that we had back in, I guess it was 2018 or so, 2017, never happens again.
Same question, please.
Yeah, Amaryllis, that's an interesting topic. When I served as president of the DeKalb NAACP, we got calls from a lot of residents about the water bills, and we actually work with the NAACP Legal Defense Fund that also was addressing water equity issues across the country in communities of color to make sure that people had clean water to drink at an affordable price. I know the county has had a moratorium on turning off water. I think that's passed. So what I would do is I would in the first 100 days, look at the equity in our system. Are people able to get clean water, life-sustaining water at an affordable price? And then make policy going forward to make sure that everybody has that option.
There's one final question before we go to our closing statements. And the question is, how would you combat gun violence? And we'll start this question off with Ms. Gabrielle Rogers.
Thank you so much for that question. As kind of stated earlier before about the driving against the increased crime levels that threaten the DeKalb residents by stripping our county's public infrastructure. But I do want to talk a little bit about the gun violence and being able to call on the state legislator and advocating on behalf of not allowing our local residents having larger or tougher machinery than our local law enforcement. That's what I'm trying to say, and being able to for them to not be able to have more powerful guns. My apologies, more powerful guns than our local law enforcement. So that's how I would combat it, working on the state legislator. Thank you.
Gina Mangum, please. Same question.
Yes. Well, as you know, this is a very, very gun-friendly state. So it's difficult to control the proliferation of guns, but we can do more education in terms of how to use them, when they are to be used. We might also want to look at what we can do on a local level. For instance, there's an ordinance that says that guns have to be locked up. Now, it's tough to enforce them, but we can look at policies that can stop the use of guns except when they're needed. So since we have a proliferation of guns in the state, I think education, also showing people what the consequences can be, and also working with law enforcement. Law enforcement right now is kind of seen as the enemy in some situations. And so I think the more we get law enforcement involved in the use of guns, that might help our problem.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Patrick, same question.
Thank you very much. That's a great question. Unfortunately, the way the Supreme Court is currently constituted, we are severely restricted on what we can do. Combined with what the state legislature has said, we are also even further restricted on what we can do when it comes to gun safety or any kind of gun requirements. The county, however, has made great efforts to promote gun safety. In particular, I believe there's a partnership with Home Depot, and we were able to acquire gun safety locks or storage boxes. And in fact, in my district, I was proud to be able to host a gun storage giveaway event over in Embry Hills. So again, as someone mentioned, education is going to be a tremendous component of that. And it's also going to be involving the county if we have other ways that we can do gun locks and other things to help keep the gun safely stored and not necessarily accessible to younger children. Also encouraging adults, please don't leave your guns in the car overnight. That is a prime target, and that is something that is driving a lot of the criminal activity within the Metro and Atlanta area. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Andy Yeoman, same question, please.
Sure. As the others have mentioned, this is a really difficult issue for me. It makes me almost sick to my stomach that, an assault rifle is legal in the state of Georgia and in the United States. I think we need to go back to, the 90s when we addressed issues like that. The other thing that there are things that the state can do, and it takes back to the answer that I had earlier, that it takes leadership and it takes a willing from the state legislature to do it. So for instance, there are ways if somebody is even arrested for domestic violence, that it can be part of a pretrial release that they can have guns. And as a county and as a state, and some of the stuff comes from the state, trickles down to the county, we need to fund programs for a pretrial release program where it's not just a judge that says that this person can't have a gun until they reach their day in court, but there's actually officers that can go out there and make site visits and check for these things. We have dogs now that can sniff guns. It's not hard to find out if there's a gun in the house. And unfortunately, as has been mentioned before, it's a resource issue. It's a revenue issue in some respects. And if the state is unwilling to act, there are some things that the county can do that I think we could be on the forefront in Georgia and even in the United States to make an impact on the gun violence in our communities.
Please, same question.
Yeah, I'm going to look at it from a different perspective. You know, I'm worried about what the criminals are doing with the guns. We have a case over here. I'm chair of the Rockbridge Coalition. In one of our neighborhoods, the North Shore neighborhood, had a drive-by shooting. The criminals were shooting at a house that was suspected drug activity. So we've got to get a handle on the criminal elements that are in our community, that the police know who they are, the neighbors know who they are. We need to crack down on them and take the guns out of their hands. And if they're using them illegally, we need to put them in jail. So that's the group of people that we need to make sure that are not assaulting our community. So again, that's why we go back to public safety, getting more officers on the street, using more technology to control that element. Gun control, yes, we're not going to totally control the number of guns in our community because Georgia's a gun-friendly state, but we need to really crack down on those who are using guns to assault our community.
Shakira.
Yes, thank you. Of course, as stated, as a county commissioner, we won't have as much control as we would probably like on being able to reduce the guns in our community, but we can partner with our state and federal representatives to try and enact smarter gun laws. We've talked about increasing public safety, making sure we have more officers patrolling the streets to increase that safety and help with the gun violence. But another aspect of that is, especially when it comes to youth and the youth using the guns, like I think Commissioner Patrick mentioned, having a gun locked in the car, and a youth might break in and take the gun out of the vehicle and then use it later on. If we're increasing our youth services and giving them other outlets, and maybe in combating gang violence in that regard, that would help reduce gun violence among our youth.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Concludes our question answer session at this time. We're going to move into our closing statements. And as a reminder to the candidates, please keep your time to 90 seconds. We would like to end on time. We start on time and end on time. Please keep your time to 90 seconds. We will start with our closing statements with Ms. Gina Mangum.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Our goals for Southeast DeKalb are many, but not impossible. We've all talked about public safety, transportation, economic development, jobs, youth, housing, affordable housing. Of course, these are important. But in order to achieve these goals, we need to change the way we govern. My focus will be to enact policies through legislation to address the issues we face. I believe over the years, we have taken a piecemeal approach to solving problems. We have giveaways, we have short-term solutions, we have nice events, but we're not really getting the job done. And so we need to take a harder look at the root cause of many of the issues that face us. Then we have to restore pride, as I mentioned earlier. There's just no reason why we cannot enforce the code. We talked about how we can't get a hold of the landlords. Well, we need to work with the state. If you're a corporation and you're doing business in Georgia, you need to register with the Secretary of State, and then you can be served through the Secretary of State, so nobody has to come and find you. So that's one way that maybe we could put in place a way to actually get to these landlords who aren't maintaining their properties. We talked about police pay. We just have to do it. We have to pay our officers, and we need to figure out a way to retain them with other benefits such as pensions and other perks, including housing. These are the priorities.
I'm sorry, your 90 seconds are up.
Okay.
Thank you. Commissioner Patrick, your closing statement, please.
All right, thank you very much. It has been an honor serving as your District 1 DeKalb County Commissioner. From the moment I took office, sort of working through a backlog of items, including dealing with COVID and citizen requests. As your county commissioner, I have worked with county staff and prioritized replacing trash cans, fixing potholes, collecting dead deer, that's a thing, responding to stormwater complaints, all the while, as I said back in the day, coordinating efforts for the COVID vaccination programs. In my next 4 years as your county commissioner, my goal is to continue to streamline our business processes and retain and attract quality businesses that in turn bring good paying jobs to DeKalb County. As I've said before, hire and retain capable staff to provide the services our residents and businesses expect. I'd like to start a program where we work with the different law enforcement agencies in DeKalb County to ensure that all DeKalb counties are treated fairly and equitably, and all the policies that are our state law are also enforced equitably. I will continue to listen and learn from all of our residents and the businesses on how to keep us safe and secure. I ask for your continued support as we build a brighter future for all of us. Thank you.
Statement, please.
Sure. I want to thank the DeKalb Dems again for hosting this forum tonight. I'll be going later tonight to make a contribution to the party, and I hope that all of you that are listening tonight that found this forum useful, that you consider doing that as well. These things are extremely valuable, and we don't get too many opportunities to do them. But I promise that I will be a commissioner that works hard every day to improve the lives of everyone and every living being in our county. I'll serve the people, whether they be residents or county employees. They all need our help. We have, as I mentioned earlier tonight, there were 3 county commissioners that resigned to step down and run for CEO. It really created a once in a generational opportunity in this election on May 21st. We will have 3 brand new commissioners and a new CEO in May, assuming there's not a runoff in the CEO, which is already just transformational for the county. And we have the potential to have 4 or 5 new county commissioners. And when we wake up on May 22nd and we pull up the ajc.com, there's really, 2 scenarios. The first headline can say 4 more years, or we can wake up and it's a new day and the headline says new day, DeKalb elects a new majority commission and a new CEO. And I really think that there is a breath of fresh air that can fill the county, and we can finally move on from some of the challenges that we've had in the last couple decades. I'm asking for your support in the District 1 race, and I would appreciate your support. And for more information, you can please visit my website, which is andyleads, leads.com. Thank you.
It's my turn, Amaryllis?
Yes.
Yes. I want to thank the DeKalb Dems, Chairwoman Brandy White, our moderator, you, Amaryllis, and all the folks who work behind the scenes to share this forum with the community. This is what community engagement looks like. This election, more than most, experience is going to matter. Having a candidate that's been a leader and community advocate for years, who knows the ins and outs of getting things done around the county, who has a real sense for the capabilities of the commission, what they have been and what they could be, and hasn't been engaged with the people of DeKalb County is going to be vital. No other candidate has a resume of community activism and service that I have. I've been fighting for DeKalb families as NAACP DeKalb president, chair of the Rockbridge Coalition of Neighborhoods, and just recently as a member of the Charter Review Commission. I will continue to fight for you to bring jobs to our community, revitalize Memorial Drive, ensure our community is a safe place for family, continue keeping our streets clean and resurfaced, and preserve the environment for current and future generations. I am asking for your vote, your prayers, and your donation to continue the fight for you and our families. To learn more about how you can join the fight to put DeKalb families first, you can go to our website, standwithlance.com. I'm asking for your support to be the next DeKalb District 4 Commissioner. Thank you for your time. Have a blessed evening.
Your closing statement.
Yes, thank you. Again, I'd also would like to just thank the DeKalb Dems for hosting this committee. I know this takes a forum. I know this takes a lot of work to put on, and it is much appreciated. I am running to be the next District 4 Commissioner because I know I have the experience between being a former council member, my engineering experience, and my work within my community. I know that together with the community, we can engineer progress for DeKalb. As stated throughout the forum tonight, that progress looks like a focus on infrastructure, public safety, our animal services, our affordable housing solutions, solutions for our unhoused population. All of these things are going to take collaborative effort, not only with our community, but with my fellow county commissioners, the staff at the county level. It's important that they are being paid um, equitably to ensure that they're providing the services that the county and the citizens request and desire, and that they're doing so in a way that they feel good at coming to work every day. So in closing, again, I just want to thank you for this opportunity tonight. If you'd like to learn more about me, my website is shakira4commissioner.com. That's the number 4, shakira4commissioner.com. I know in the future, we will be able to engineer progress for DeKalb. Thank you.
Chair Rogers, take us out, please, on your closing statement.
Oh, I'm the last. Okay. Well, sure thing. Thank you so much, Ms. Alexander, to the CAP, DMs, the moderators, and also our tech team, the community, for the opportunity to share my vision and platform from District 4. As stated in my opening remarks, we, District 4, deserve an innovative, visionary leader who has the energy to bring fresh ideas and get the job done. You've experienced firsthand the quality of my service and commitment to our county in the areas of economic development, public safety, and housing. I'm uniquely qualified, not only because of my extensive corporate, nonprofit, and business development experience, but because I didn't have to resign to still serve. I'm still serving our community while pursuing this seat to represent each of you. I again invite you to take this drive with me and let us engage our collective vision and to reimagine DeKalb County by showing all of Georgia and even in the world that if it lives and breathes, it can be found here in DeKalb County. Together, we will demonstrate that it only takes drive to realize positive change. And so I'm asking for your vote on May 21st because I will be a good steward over your resources. So join Team Rogers today by donating or volunteering to go to electrogers4decab4.com. Follow us on social media, Gabrielle Rogers for DeKalb, Instagram, Rogers for DeKalb. Again, I'm Gabrielle Rogers, serving to be your next DeKalb County Commissioner for District 4. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers. I would like to take this time to thank all of the candidates and the virtual audience for your participation. Again, my name is Amaryllis Alexander, and it has been a pleasure serving as your moderator tonight. At this time, I will turn it back over to Ms. Brandy Weish. Thank you all.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone, for being here this evening. Thank you to our candidates for being here, sharing about your platforms. I do also want to thank Ms. Amaryllis Alexander for doing a fantastic job moderating for us this evening, as well as Steve Parker for leading all of the work that you see here this evening. Everyone here has heard from our candidates for commissioners for districts 1, 4, and 5 tonight. I do want to invite everyone also to get more involved at the commissioner level. So as you've heard some of our candidates speaking about, our commission meetings are actually held every second and fourth Tuesday of the month at 9 a.m. in the Maloof Auditorium in downtown Decatur. You can also watch those. Those are televised live on Channel 23. Those meetings are open to the public. So if you would like to see more of what happens at the commissioner level and learn more about the work that these folks are looking to do, we do invite you to start to participate in those meetings from a public perspective as well. I'm going to pass it back over to Steve to close us out for this evening. And again, thank you everyone for being here tonight.
Thank you, Brandy, and thank you all for being here tonight. This is our first forum in this May 21st cycle for elections. A few glitches with audio, but your responses and answers came through loud and clear, candidates. Thank you so much. We learned about staffing, business development, quality of construction, water quality, mental health, and gun safety issues. I learned a lot. It was a great takeaway. Thank you all for your, thoughtful responses, candidates. These forums are so important. It's very important that you make the correct decisions. We hope they help you when you vote. Thank you for Amaryllis Alexander for moderating, and technical crew, Denise Peterson, Amy Farrow, and Leona Perry, and Kevin Davenport for her research in developing some of these questions, and the special events subcommittee for planning these forums. Our next virtual forum is next Wednesday, April 17th at 6 p.m. and will feature DeKalb County candidates for state court judges. Then on Wednesday, April 23rd, we will present candidates for the DeKalb County Board of Education. Also, mark your calendars now for our final forum for this cycle, which will feature candidates for DeKalb County CEO on Wednesday, May 1st at 6 p.m. All of these are virtual and they all start at 6. It's very important to vote. Please visit DeKalbDems.com for a Make a Plan to Vote tab, where you can see the complete list of candidates and access this and future YouTube recordings of these forums. This is the best information for you to share with your network. Please know that May 10th is the last day to submit an absentee ballot for the May 21st general primary nonpartisan election, and that early voting begins April 29th. We are also very pleased to announce that DeKalb Dems will be presenting our annual Leadership Legacy Award to Senator Gloria Butler and CEO Michael Thurman at our Blue Ballot reception on Saturday, June 22nd at the Emory Conference Center Hotel here in Decatur. Tickets and sponsorships are on sale now. Details about all of our programs and events can be found at DeKalbDems.com. Thank you all for your participation. Have a great evening. Good night.
Bye.